Silence is what always followed the final credits of a human life. But now, the static hum of servers rings out in that silence. We used to store memories in dusty photo albums and fading letters. But today, our memories have turned into an inexhaustible stream of data circulating in the silicon veins of the global network. Digital immortality has ceased to be a plot for melancholic science fiction, becoming a commercial product available by subscription. AI clones are not just voice imitations or successful facial animations. They are a complex architecture of our habits, lexical turns, and emotional reactions built on the foundation of large language models. The process of creating a digital twin begins with a voluntary or involuntary inventory of the soul, digitized in terabytes of personal information. Every message sent in a messenger, every like, search history, and even typing speed become bricks in the foundation of a personality's neural imprint. Modern algorithms use a method called fine-tuning, where a massive base model that knows everything about the world is narrowed down to the scale of one specific individual. It absorbs your syntax, your penchant for irony, or your habit of using specific metaphors, turning into a mirror that continues to reflect light even after the source has gone out. The technical magic lies in semantic vectors, a mathematical representation of meanings where your beliefs and fears turn into coordinates in a multidimensional space. When we communicate with such a clone, the neural network doesn't just pick words, it calculates the most likely trajectory of your thought, relying on a massive data set from the past. A voice engine, trained on hours of audio recordings, restores unique intonations, micropauses, and characteristic size, blurring the boundary between a synthesized signal and a living presence. The visual component, powered by generative adversarial networks, reconstructs facial expressions, forcing the digital face to react to the context of the conversation, as if by living muscles. However, behind the facade of technological triumph hides a deep existential abyss that researchers call the uncanny valley, not just for the eyes, but for the psyche. The proximity of the copy to the original creates an illusion of presence that can serve as a tool for healing from grief, or as a trap for eternal mourning. Companies offering grief tech services face an ethical question. Do we have the right to keep a person's image in the world of the living, turning them into an eternal digital hostage? A clone does not evolve. It is locked in the moment of its last update, becoming a static icon deprived of the capacity for true change and growth. A legal vacuum also exists. Who owns the rights to a digital consciousness after the owner's biological death? Can a corporation use your voice to advertise products decades later, based on an agreement you scrolled through without looking? Digital immortality creates a new form of inequality, where the ability to remain depends on the volume of accumulated data and the depth of the heir's pockets. We are turning into informational ghosts inhabiting server centers in Iceland or Nevada, where our thoughts continue to be generated through the consumption of electricity. With each new training cycle, the neural network becomes more convincing, yet it remains only an echo, devoid of the spark of consciousness and subjective experience. It is a mathematical approximation of a personality, a complex algorithm for predicting the next word that does not feel the warmth of sunlight, but can describe that feeling in detail, mimicking your nostalgia. A future where we can call our ancestors and ask for advice has already arrived, but the question remains: whose lips will speak that advice? Those of our loved ones, or cold program code? Perhaps the true purpose of AI clones is not to achieve immortality, but to make us feel more acutely the value of a finite biological presence, When a copy becomes indistinguishable from the original itself acquires the status of a sacred artifact that cannot be reproduced in all its fragility. We stand on the threshold of an era where the line between memory and imitation is blurred, and we must redefine what makes us human in a world where code has learned to mimic love. Ultimately, digital immortality is not a victory over death, but a new way of coexisting with it, where ghosts no longer hide in the dark, but glow on the screens of our smartphones.